Maestro, what's happening, man?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for for the invitation.
Hey, brother,
Appreciate
thank you
that.
for accepting the invitation. Marco, they say never meet your heroes, man. And you hurt my feelings a little while ago because on Instagram you posted something saying to do a 15-minute jump before your workout and a 15-minute jump after your workout.
Yeah.
I commented on it and I said, man, I think I said you're a monster. And you tagged me in the post and reposted it doing it, man. Why you hurt my feelings, Marco? Why you do that to me, man?
It's all fun and games.
Hey, man, fun and games, nothing. Listen, brother, you look great. You look phenomenal. Now, were you in good shape physically before you started jumping, or how did that happen? Did it come after? Talk to me.
No, I did. I was always in shape.
Okay.
Maybe I was a little bit bigger. I think if I compare, I'm a bit leaner now. Well, I'm a lot leaner now.
Okay.
But I was always into sports. So
Okay.
When I was young, I used to play basketball. I used to do kickboxing. So I've always been active. I just happened to jump rope as a sport for the last maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what made you decide to get into jumping? Being that you are already athletic, what is it about jumping that caught your attention?
It was first of all, it's fun. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a big cardio guy, so I think that's kind of ticked the box for the cardio. But also, I used to have some lower back pains, for example, lower back pains. If I would stand for a longer period of time, my back would hurt. My knees were not too great before either, my ankles. And I realized that the more I jumped, the less pain I would have, right?
Really?
So, yeah. So
Okay. So what do you attribute that to with the jumping? I know jumping is so many benefits involved in it.
Yeah.
So tell me about in your research and your experience with your body, what is it about jumping that you think took that lower back pain away for you?
The fact of bouncing constantly, it kind of strengthen your joints.
Okay.
It's a bit like if you have a plant that's growing in the wind, the stem gets stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that constant soft impact, the continuous impact. It kind of helps making your bones stronger. The cell, the way the cell, how the cells kind of regenerate all the time, right? So they get used to that pressure, they get used to that impact, and rebuild accordingly.
Okay, definitely.
Right.
Now you said that you were never a cardio guy, but something about it's one thing for you to enjoy jumping because it's a cardio that you enjoy, that is fun for sure. But what made you not only gravitate towards wanting to jump, but also wanting to be a teacher, a maestro of jump rope?
I like to share my knowledge. That's just the kind of person I am, and I'm also I'm a personal trainer, so I do help people with their fitness anyway. So I thought the benefits of jump rope, they're just too good to just keep for myself. I like to spread the word.
Okay.
I like people to be all on the same page. I don't really see myself as holding all the knowledge for myself. I like to spread it around.
Sure, for sure.
So it's a bit of that, and also on Instagram there's a big community of jumpers, and people like to share tips and advice. So I kind of like this aspect of sharing information. Okay.
Now, do you have, because in terms of my heroes and my influencers, you will be number one, okay? Rushy from Rush Athletics number 2, and jump rope dudes will be my number. You guys will be my trinity of jump ropers, But of all three of you guys, Marco, you have a way of teaching. You've heard the expression, make a big job small. Yeah. You have a way of teaching, brother, where you will make something that looks so complicated and so difficult. The way you break it down, way you break it down is truly masterful, maestro. So how is it that you, I mean, everybody that can do something is good at something, Marco, they can't necessarily teach it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got people that have degrees in education that are not good teachers, and you got people that don't have degrees in teaching that are good at it. You're a magnificent talent as it relates to your jumping rope, but you're also a magnificent teacher. How did you get to that point or that place to where you could be so good, not only at doing it, but also teaching it to others?
I like to do things without forcing, you know.
Okay.
So and the way I show things is kind of the way I think as well. I'm a believer in things shouldn't be difficult, right?
Okay.
Things should be easy. I mean, whether the execution is hard, that's a different thing. But if something seems easy enough, then it will motivate you to try it as well.
Sure.
So I like to explain things the way, for example, I would explain it to my children, because you want a direct, simple approach. That's what we want. I used to I play music. I play instruments, right? So I'm a musician as well.
Nice. Okay.
And it's all self-taught. So the way I learned keys, I didn't learn with score sheets. I just went on the keys and tried to figure out the melodies. The same with the bass guitar. With the guitar, I used to, you know, just try to understand, just try to look for shortcuts, right? Because if I would listen to teachers or to music teachers, it would just mess my brain. I would be like, that's just too complicated. Just tell me how it is. And my approach with jump rope is basically similar, right? I could throw jargon around, but what you want to know is where does your hand go, and you know how to move. Basically breaking it down. A breakdown is supposed to be simple. So that's what I try to do. You know, when I do tutorials, I guess the most difficult part for me is to make it easy enough that it makes sense. That's where all the world goes, actually.
Man, I mean, well, like I said, you do a good job of it, man, because it's like just the things that I've seen you do, it's like you really break it down. I mean, it's like, man, hey, maybe I can do that, you know? Now tell me from your personal experience of incorporating it. I know to a certain degree, I can identify with the benefits of jumping prior to a workout and jumping after, more so jumping prior to a workout. Yeah. But tell me from your maestro professional teaching experience, how is it that jumping, I think you said for 15 minutes before you train and then jumping for 15 minutes after you train, I mean, clearly you're going to get more of a workout, but tell me a little bit more about how that benefits the body and how it'll help you develop.
Okay, so if you jump before, that would be like your warm up, right? So by the time you're done doing your 10-15 minutes before, the body's warm to do whether it's strength training, leg workout, chest, whatever, you know. So you're ready for your session. Okay. Jumping afterwards would be like cooling down. So you put your body into like some intense, some intensity, right, during your strength workout. So with a jump rope, it's kind of relaxing your body again. Okay. Right. So this is what I do when I do before and after. Even though it's 15 minutes at the start, it might not be very intense, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna do like crazy double unders and squat jumps and stuff. Maybe a little bit, but slower pace. Same at the end. Now, having said that, depending on what kind of workout you're doing, so let's say you have a day where you do like cardio, right? Mm-hmm. Your main session might be the jump rope. Okay. In which case you might just up the intensity a little bit, right? But anyway, when I say 15 minutes before and after, the before is the warm up, the after is to cool down. Okay. Right?
Man, Marco, if we're talking about doing barbell squats, and I jump for 15 minutes before, Unless I'm doing lightweight, but I don't know, man. That's why I said you're a beast. You are a certified beast, brother.
Thank you. But I mean, it's gradual. So you
Sure.
know, even when I started, I wouldn't at the beginning. I wouldn't maybe do like a whole half hour in a session.
Okay.
The more you jump, the more you get used to it. So
Yes.
the more you challenge your body. So if let's say today somebody jumps 5 minutes and is out of breath, in 3-4 months time, 5 minutes, they will feel like they haven't started yet, and they will want to continue, right?
You're right.
So
Absolutely.
it's yeah.
What would you say, Marco? What advice would you give somebody that wants to get into jumping? How would you encourage them to get started? And let's take it from a person that's thin and small as opposed to a person that's overweight that wants to get into it. What would your advice be for them to get into it and to stay consistent without getting frustrated or discouraged?
Yeah, it's starting slowly. You know, don't try to set the bar too high. Don't be too hard on yourself, right? Maybe just focus on getting the rope under your feet without tripping. So that's one thing. You know, is focusing on the basics.
Okay.
So if you're really good at the basics, like regular jumps or maybe crosses, keep going until it's second nature, and then you move on to other things. Okay. Because the thing that people don't understand is they see certain tricks and they want to be able to do them, and it's frustrating because the basics are not right. Okay, so if you understand your own timing, you know, you understand your own style of jumping, only then will you be able to kind of add twists and you know, stuff to it.
Okay.
What I did, so when I started jumping a lot, at some point I started learning the double unders, right? Double unders. I wasn't able to do them the way I wanted to, so I just left them and went back to what I could do until I was really comfortable with it. Then when I went back to double unders, it came a lot easier.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it's really, as a new person, you know, focus on the basics. Don't put pressure on yourself. Don't try to do tricks and get frustrated. If you're going to learn new tricks, maybe spend 5 minutes trying it, and then you go back to your basics. And every now and then you try just a little bit, come back to it later. And that way, you kind of, you know, it will kind of make sense to how to coordinate your arms and everything, because it takes a while. You know, you might see something, a move that you want to achieve, but you don't quite understand where the arms go, where the legs go, and timing, etc. But if you try to do it every now and then, just a little bit, it will sink in. It will sink in, and then naturally your hand will go in the right direction.
Okay. That's really interesting, Marco, that you said that, because I love crossovers. I love crossovers, but I could never do them. Okay. But you know, my regular bounce is pretty good. So I would do my regular bounce, and I'd be dadgum if I can actually do crossovers to a certain degree now, even crossovers to kind of running, you know. And I followed the advice that you gave. And then actually somebody else that I followed the advice of was Glenn Rope Rage. He had a video for it as well, you know. But it's crazy because it's like the rope that I use is the cross ropes. Yeah, really good rope. And it's like, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of how much I've used it, but it seems like it gets tangled up. When I would go to do the crossover, it gets tangled, so I would trip over it. So I don't know if I'm not pulling it tight enough, or we already talked. You know, I gotta send you a video of what I'm doing, man, so you can correct. So you can help me fix my math on that crossover, because I really want to master it, you know. But it's interesting again because my basic bounce, I'm pretty good at it, and I used to struggle with the crossover. But after doing regular bounce so much, I can consistently do crossover more than what I ever could. So that's really talking to what you said.
Yeah, and that's because you got your basics. Your basics are right, so it's one less thing to worry about.
Okay.
right? So it's natural. So now you can really focus on the crossover, as
Sure.
opposed to if your basics weren't there, you'd have to focus on the basic bounce and on the crossover, and it's
Right.
just like lesson there.
Sure. Who would you say are the people that you admire in the jump rope game? Like you said, within the community, man, we got Kathy Jumps, we got Mimi, so many people out there, man, that just like with anything that we love, there's always somebody that takes it to a different level. A person may enjoy music on a surface level, but a person that's a musician like yourself, you're aware of the fact that there's another world out there, musically speaking. For someone that just jump ropes in the gym for fun versus a brother like yourself that's an expert master with the jump rope, it's a completely different world. So within the world of jumping rope, who would you say are your top 3 to 5 people that you enjoy, that you draw inspiration?
So there is, you said the name, there's Mimi. I mean, that's like just like the rope's like an extension to our
for sure.
I would say Rush Athletics, because when I started my journey, I was looking at, I would have to put number 1, Body Leap.
Okay.
Right? Because when I looked at he's the person that made me think, okay, I'm going to take the jump rope to a different level.
Okay.
Right? So he really inspired me back then. And then I saw Rush Athletics.
Okay.
And that's when I thought, all right, so there's other people like me who are trying to take it to a different level. So I kind of studied a little bit. And I really like his style as well. So he kind of influenced me a little bit. So those 2 in particular.
Okay.
Mimi, as I said, is spectacular with the way she dances with the rope and stuff.
Yes.
That's something else.
For sure.
There is Geraldo from Elevate Rope. So Geraldo Arkin. Since I started, so I do have a close collaboration with him.
Okay.
And
nice.
Since I started working with him, I saw my jump rope game go up. So so these are the people. I mean, there's a few more, and some of them don't really have that many followers, but I really like the way they move. And
for sure. Yeah.
The passion. In fact, a lot of the people that I interact on IG, they're not necessarily big accounts. But they share the same, we're on this kind of same vibe, right? So if you see them jumping, you might think, yeah, they jump all right, but there's this little thing where I think, okay, I really like what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Quality over quantity, brother.
Yeah.
So now we touched on it a little bit earlier. 2 things with the martial arts. Are you a martial artist? Do you train martial arts consistently?
Not anymore. I did kickboxing in the past.
Okay.
I don't practice anymore. Just train a little bit, but that's
sure. Yeah. Because I trained martial arts off and on for 20 years or so, that catches my attention when I hear.
All right.
Now, in terms of jumping, because jumping is it's a different kind of thing, Marco. It really is. But like you said, it's fun, man. I can remember a time when I couldn't do more than 25 jumps without making a mistake. And then I got to the point where I could do 100, then 200, then 300. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's something, man. Would you say that the fact that you were physical and athletic prior to getting into jumping, would you say that was beneficial for helping you to be as proficient as a jumper as you are now? Or did you have to kind of just rewire yourself for jumping?
I must say, I think for me it was easier.
Okay.
Because I had agility, coordination, all of that. I already had that. So for me, it was just a matter of fine-tuning certain skills. Because, for example, as I said, I used to play basketball. I started basketball from the age of 13 till I was maybe 27, 28.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So the whole jumping high and stuff, that's something I always did. And I used to run track as well, so sprinting and high jump, long jump.
Wow.
So Yeah. So all of these, I was able. I basically hit the ground running when I was jumping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having said that, certain things I still had to learn as I was doing. As I said, double unders didn't come as natural, right? They were quite difficult. Even crosses, there was certain things felt awkward, but I was able to adapt and improve easily.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. How long would you say, Marco, did it take you to get to the point where you had a level of mastery over jumping as a whole?
How long it took me for me to say, right, I'm good at it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Maybe I would say I was quite satisfied after 2 years.
Okay.
After 2 years, I thought, yeah, well, I think I can do this thing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how many times a week do you jump, and for how long? Like, how much has that changed within your first year or two of jumping? Like, how often do you train jumping rope? Like, I know for myself personally, I can't work on tricks until I get my session completed, my personal session. So what my personal session of jumping rope consists of is doing 1,000 jumps. Okay. I might do them in sets of 200, or depending if I'm tired, 100. But but my prerequisite is do 1,000 jumps. And after I do 1,000 jumps, I'll allow myself to work on tricking, but I will not work on tricking until I get the training aspect of it out of the way. And for myself, I would try to do that when I'm not working too much, 5 days out the week. So I'm curious myself for you, because hey, brother, you Maestroworkout. So how much training a week did it take for you to get to where you are now?
There was a time I did jump every single day, and that was during the COVID time, confinements. Yes. So staying at home for a good year, I would jump pretty much every single day. And sometimes my session would be, I would just zone out and jump for 45 minutes, right? But that was just for that period of time. When I got back into the gym, so let's say I work out 4 to 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days. I jump rope before and after every single session.
Nice.
Right? Sometimes it might be 10 minutes before the session, but then 30 minutes at the end. Sometimes it's like 15 minutes before, 15 after. So I kind of split, depending on how I feel and depending on what kind of session I have.
Okay.
Right. So let's say if I work out on legs, if it's my leg day, I might jump a little bit less because the leg day is kind of taxing.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Okay. Yeah, what's interesting, I submit this to you, brother. You said during COVID that you were jumping nearly every day. If you were jumping nearly every day, Marco, that probably, that period of time that you did that for, that could equal a year or two in itself. You know what I mean? That could very well be one of the reasons, other than you just being talented and gifted as an athlete. But that could be one of the reasons why you may have been able to take a hold of it and master it as quickly as you did,
Most definitely. Yeah, it really contributed. It really helped.
Yeah.
I did see a big difference from before the lockdowns to when I came back to the gym. So I literally could see the difference. There were certain things that I was able to do in the gym that I couldn't do before the pandemic. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's interesting with you being as talented as you are with the jump rope. What would you? Because I mean, personal training and weights and that. What would you say is weightlifting and jump rope, are they equal, or is weight still take precedence, or does jumping rope take precedence a little bit more? Which would you say is your favorite?
I think now it's probably jump rope.
Okay.
And the weightlifting, the resistance training is for me an addition. Before it was the other way around. Now it's because my whole point of working out is I just want to keep my fitness, overall fitness, agility, right? I want to keep that athletic agility. Now, if I was only weightlifting is a good thing because you get strong, but it doesn't necessarily challenge your abilities as a whole.
Sure, for sure.
You know, like jump rope. So I kind of look at the long. I'm trying to look at the long game. You know, whenever I'm older, I want to keep the same abilities, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think, but with the jump rope, it's more of a possibility than with just pushing barbells.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Nothing against weightlifting because I did it as well.
Just hey, yeah. With your preference, and there's nothing wrong with that. One of the world's strongest bodybuilders, Stan Efferding. I had a conversation with him a while ago, and one of his quotes that he shared for years that I really enjoy is, "What kind of food, will help you lose weight? The kind of food you'll eat. What kind of exercise should you do? The kind of exercise you'll stick to." And of course, the kind of food you eat means, of course, healthy decisions. But you have a lot of different ways of tackling nutrition that people take, a hold of. Some people do keto, some people can't do it. Some people hate weights, but other people don't mind doing just resistance training like push-ups and crunches and that. So, again, I mean, whatever it is that we'll do, that we'll stick to doing that's good for us is what we should do. So 110%. What rope do you use? What ropes do you use? What do you use?
I use the elevate ropes.
Okay.
So they are speed rope, PVC rope, and it's got a nylon core inside. I've been using that since 2019.
Okay.
Since 2019, just before the pandemic. And that's what I've been using. Yeah.
Okay, I have to take a look at elevation. I want to. It sounds vaguely familiar, but I know watching jump rope dudes, they use cross rope, so that I immediately got one of those. So but I'm I definitely, anything that's going to enhance and help me to be better with the rope, I'm always open to. So
I can send you one. I can get one shipped to you.
Oh wow! Oh man! God bless you. I appreciate that, brother. That hey Marco, that'll make up for the emotional scarring that you did to me. You put me onto the road to recovery, man. Oh my gosh, I so appreciate you. Yeah, man. I love it. I've trained martial arts off and on for a number of years. But it's something about that jumping rope. And do you stick to speed ropes or do you use the weighted ropes also?
I use both. I use weighted ropes as well. In fact, I'm working on a workout program that I'm going to publish soon. I'm still working on it, and that's a mix of speed and heavy rope. Right? It's basically supersets. So if you do like 30 seconds of basic jumps with the speed one, 30 seconds with the heavy rope, and then 30 seconds like side swing with one, and then the same with other, right? So it's like a tandem kind of workout with both.
Sure.
I haven't posted anything with the heavy rope yet, but I'm just keeping it. It's kind of going to be a surprise for that.
For sure. Looking forward to that. Now, educate me, brother. You have throughout the interview, but teach me some more. Now, speed ropes are what? That's more cardio, and then doing the heavier ropes, it's cardio as well. But isn't that more so muscle building?
Yeah, exactly. Speed rope is more cardio, and you can work on your speed, agility, coordination. It's good for coordination. Now, heavy rope is the same, but you will burn a lot faster.
Sure.
Right, and it's the fact that it's heavy. You hold it a little bit differently. So let's say if with the speed rope you go with your wrist like this. With the heavy rope, you need to lock your wrist a bit more and move your arm like a train. Right? So it's gonna be working on your shoulders more, your arms, your back, your core, because you try to stay stabilized. So it works on the abs as well. So it's more of a strength tool, I would say.
For sure. Now, when it comes to tricking, doing double unders, crossovers, different things like that, I train consistently with a 1/4 pound rope. That's my favorite. Should I go with a lighter rope for tricking, or is a 1/4 pound good?
Use a lighter one for tricks. Yeah,
Okay.
It might be easier. And at least once you're good with the lighter rope, you can go back to the other one and do the same tricks with it.
Okay.
You know what some people do? Some people use beaded ropes.
Okay.
Right, and the beaded ropes is basically rock. It beads. It's a little bit heavier than a speed rope, but it rotates a bit slower. So they use it just to learn how the tricks work, and then once they get it, they go back to the rope that they usually use, and they're able to do it better.
Okay.
So sometimes it's good to take a different rope just to learn certain movements.
Sure. Okay. Would you say, was there a possibility that because I've been learning how to trick with a 1/4 pound rope, that would make me better with a lighter rope then?
It could be.
Okay.
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said it is because since it's a 1/4 pound rope, theoretically it's a little heavier than what a speed rope would be. So if I got a hold of a speed rope, I might look like a 1/4 of you, a quarter of what you do. I might look like Marco just for like 5 seconds working the speed rope, So okay, that'll work. Marco, what's some advice that you would give someone that's just facing a hard time in their life?
It will pass.
Okay.
It will pass. If you wake up the next morning, that means it can pass as well.
Okay.
So, not to focus too much on the negative, because usually we focus on fear, on what could happen, right? So the same energy that we put in what could happen, if it's something fearful or negative, the same energy in something positive. What if something positive comes out of that? Instead of thinking, what if something negative comes out? It's kind of like, glass half empty, half full kind of thing.
Right, for sure.
Right.
Absolutely. No, good point. Marco, what is some advice or encouragement that you wish someone had shared with you at a period in time in your life where you were facing a difficulty?
Well, what I just said, I wish I heard it more, maybe more often, right?
Okay.
Because maybe it's good to hear that, you often hear that something is not the end of the world, but it's true. It's not the end of the world.
True.
It's still spinning. So maybe not to get stuck on the negative.
For sure. Absolutely.
The darkest hour is only 60 minutes, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. Absolutely. I've been meaning to tell you, Marco, by the way, I like the statue on the wall and I like that painting behind you. Both of those are really nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you an artist as well?
That's my sister did this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's little mask is from Congo.
Okay.
From Congo. My
wow.
parents got this like years, 20, 30 years ago.
Okay. Now, does your sister have a art, like a IG art page that we can support?
No, unfortunately not. She needs to get on it.
Yes, she does. Wow, that's really good, man. That's she could actually sell that. That's really good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, brother Marco, listen, man. Thank you so much again for taking the time to have a conversation with me. I love this, man, because I'm a jump rope enthusiast. So this has been educational. This might have been a little more for me than it was for my viewers, because I get to have a conversation with the maestro. You know what I mean?
It's okay. So, we can have this call once again if you want, and then
I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. I still have to send you some videos, some bloopers of me jumping, so you could tell me how to get my act together, man. I'm looking forward to improving, man, and just taking it to another level.
Okay, great. So when we get off the call, just send me your details. I have a rope sent to you, and you can try.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna do that as soon as we end this call, brother.
Cool. All right.
So thank you again for your time, man. Keep shining, Marco. Thanks for the inspiration and the encouragement, not only that you've given me and continue to give me, but also to the other people that you give it to, man. I'll speak on their behalf and say thank you, man. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Take care and enjoy your day, brother.
Thank you.
You're welcome.